Welcome back. We're going to do an overview of agricultural groundwater data available in some of the Catena Analytics tools today. Again, this is a guide for Colorado designated planning agencies to help kind of guide development of their 208 plans and just awareness of some of the data resources that we have. This is in partnership with Colorado Department for Public Health and Environment through their Water Quality Control Division. Today, we're actually going to go over two different tools where two different types of data sit relating to groundwater. The first one is the Agricultural Water Quality Program, AWQP. This is a program through the Colorado Department of Agriculture that has been surveying groundwater quality across the state for a number of different years. Then we have a tool and an interface dedicated to that data set, and then we're going to step into the RAP tool, the Watershed Rapid Assessment Program, which is a basic data summary tool. And it includes some supplemental information from mostly from USGS about groundwater aquifer extents, as well as some of the USGS's monitoring stations for different groundwater data types. So first, if you go to erams.com/co_groundwater, this is the Agricultural Water Quality Program database landing page. You'll have two versions of this interface, and we kind of highlight that in the associated PDF guide for this tool. The first is a database viewer. So if you click on that one and look into the look into the data set, you get to start with just some basic text entry forms, which allow you to specify to look at data types, right? If I want to look at a particular county, let's say if I want to look in Larimer County, because that's where Fort Collins is, you can look at your crop type, you can look at your parameter of interest, right? These are groups, so if you want to look at a group of pesticides, you can look at a ton of different pesticide options, or you can say all of them. I'm just going to leave it as any of the types of ammonia. You can look at above or below detection limits. You can look at above or below, standards for water quality. You can look at a user-defined level, and you can say, do I want to look at last 5 years? I want to look at the last 10 years. You can pick as many as you want, and then you can submit it, right? So for Larimer County, for those years, I didn't get anything. I'm going to re-query it. No. So when it's done loading, I did any search for kind of any inorganic parameter. So these are a lot of your metals. You'll notice there's this overview summary table, right? So if I'm looking at just alkalinity, if I'm looking at just calcium or copper, some relatable ones, you got a summary of how many measurements were in this area that met that filter, what kind of units that test is in, what's the average, the median, the min, max, 25th percentile, 75th percentile. Then you have a well level summary, right? So if I want to look at the wells and the actual data for it, this is the raw data set for every one of those monitoring points. And then who pulled it, right? Was it the Department of Ag's groundwater program that did it? Was it something else? Was it pulled for a drinking water study? Who was the source of that data? If you want to look at any of these, you can download them. This will download all of these tables as CSV, right? So you have a download per table. So you can turn this into a CSV file. If you're more inclined to use a spatial extent, you can look at the map version of the tool. This and it'll preload those wells into the tool, or you can start over here at the top of the tool by going straight into the map viewer. That's going to take you over to the interface that is dedicated to just viewing the map and interacting with the same data set, same filters. So you can look for well ID, you can look for geographic region, you can do all those same kind of questions, but it's going to do it in a map sense, right? So I'm going to start off at Colorado. I'm going to look at, I go to my map and look at my geospatial layers. I get to see my monitoring network, right? So the red one is the Arkansas River Basin, and the green one is the South Platte River Basin. The blue one is the West Slope. So you can kind of see that these are grouped by the region that they're sampled within. If you're interested, you can specify those same drop downs. I want to look at inorganics. I want to look at any of them. I want to look at anything detected, not detected. I want to look at any set of years. I want to look within an area of interest. Again, this area of interest can be something as dynamic as picking a point buffer or drawing an area, right? If I wanted to pick just the area around Fort Collins, Colorado, I can draw a custom polygon. It'll go fetch all the wells within there. I can pick any one of those and it's going to give me an overview of the well, right? So this is well FRM106. Depth to the well depth is 18 feet. It's in the South Platte River alluvial aquifer. It's had 4 samples in its history. It's got a median nitrate number, total pesticide sampling events. You can look at a further description, right? So over here, you can go further into that particular site. You can also zoom to it on the map, right? I'm going to zoom in, see that particular one again. You'll notice it'll also pre-selected on the left panel. So if I lose my little pop-up and want it back, I can go see which one I clicked on. Site detail is going to open up further expansion of the data set. You notice you can go through some of your graphs. Do I want to look at nitrate in this particular one? Do I want to look at pesticides? Do I want to look at any supplemental information that's available for this well, right? That's kind of what is available for groundwater data out of the Agricultural Water Quality Program. The second source of data, groundwater data, is in the RAP tool, right? This is the Watershed Rapid Assessment Program. It operates very similarly to that previous map tool, where you can look for a given area of interest, right? I can define my rectangle, I can define my polygon, I can use a known boundary, I can do something like zoom into the city of Fort Collins, say I want to pick county. I want to go look in Larimer County because I know Fort Collins is in Larimer County, and then set my boundary. If I change my mind on what I'm interested in, I can go back and repick my area of interest, right? If I want to go over here, over to Grand Junction, maybe I want to go work over there. You'll notice my list still says Larimer and Weld County. If I refresh it, it's going to refresh to the area that I've just zoomed to on my map, and now it's going to include the other counties. So if I want to look at Grand County, look at Grand County over here in Utah. I want to look at Mesa County. I can look at Mesa County here in Colorado. And it'll draw it on the map for you so you can see that whole area of interest. If that's the one I want, I can pick it. I'm going to use my map tool to go back to the city of Fort Collins. I'm going to zoom back into that. I'm going to refresh my layer again, pick Larimer County. That's the one I want. Set my boundary. I can go in and look, maybe I don't want Larimer County. Maybe I want to go into Fort Morgan and look at things around Fort Morgan. I can say I don't want that. I want to draw my own boundary on the map. I want everything around the ag areas around Fort Morgan, Colorado. A nice little rectangle. I can pick my groundwater one. You'll notice that there's some data info links so you can see where the aquifer extents came from the USGS. You can go see the summary of where those came from. You can look at where the water quality data came from for the current groundwater. What this will do is it'll give you a period of record that you're assessing, and then the groundwater parameter of interest, right? Do I want to look at depth to groundwater? Do I want to look at depth above sea level of groundwater? Do I want to look at some sort of water quality parameter? Do I want to look at ammonia? Do I want to look at dissolved oxygen? Do I want to look at pH? Any of those kind of things. This is a lot of metals tests. You can pick any one of those. You'll notice that these get summarized on the map. Data points that have data gets highlighted in blue. You notice 2 of my 4 sites actually have groundwater level data above sea level. So these 2 blue ones are the ones down here, right? So I got CBA and ADD. Those are the 2 in my graph down here at the bottom. If I want my graph to be bigger, I can use these 2 little arrows to make this bottom panel go all the way up. I can see more of my graph. This is a big time series, so you can use the scroll bars at the bottom to shrink it into just an area of interest, right? So if I only want to look at the end of July, early August of 2018, I can do that. Looking at my different, monitoring wells. If I want a different parameter, I can pick a different parameter and query for it. If I want a different period of record. These charts are all downloadable, right? So if I want to print it, if I want it as an image to go put in a different report, if I want just the Excel file or the CSV file that I want to manipulate it offline and do my own statistics off of it, you can download any of these. If you click this download button, it's going to download both the data set behind this graph as well as the shapefile for these monitoring points, as well as a map image of those monitoring points on the map. So it'll take a little bit once you click it because it's got to generate the map image, but you'll get a pop-up that says you can download it. You'll have a little, if you don't have your pop-ups enabled for this site, you'll get a little red X somewhere on this end of your web browser that's going to say that it blocked it. tell it to allow pop-ups from our website, and then it'll download those files for you in a zip file that includes, again, the map image, it'll include the graph image, it'll include the graph data set, and it'll include the shape file for those monitoring locations.